By February, most New Year's resolutions are already on life support, believe it or not, because willpower was never meant to carry your entire life. If you started January fired up and now you're tired, distracted, ashamed, and quietly thinking, maybe this is just who I am, this episode is just for you. And today I'm joined by a special guest, Michelle Deal, and we're going to break down what's actually happening when motivation fades and how to reset without starting from zero. So, welcome, Michelle, to the stage.
Thank you so much. I am so excited about this topic, really fired up. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
tell the audience a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so thanks for having me. So
Absolutely.
at my core, I am a clinician and a veteran. And I run a practice and we're called On Healing Therapy, and we specialize in trauma and OCD and neurodivergence. But if I had to boil down my work to one word, it's choice. Most people show up at our office and they feel like they have zero options. They feel trapped by their past or their circumstances or their brain chemistry. And our job here is to empower them to realize that they actually have a seat at the table. They have a choice. And because of my military background, I'm deeply invested in veteran and first responder wellness and suicide prevention. And
I
it's
love that.
this is my shameless plug. I'm a shameless advocate for the Women Veteran Calendar Organization and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I
Oh,
believe we have to be loud about these things. We have to make a dent in the statistics.
absolutely. And that's why we have the Girl Talk Mental Health, the therapist takeover, so
I
that all those things can happen. Like those things that are hidden, that no one knows about, or they feel like it's taboo or weird or odd. That's what this year is about. It's the therapist takeover. And I am
I
glad that you are part of this monumental time with Girl Talk Mental Health.
thank you. Thank you so much. I am so excited. This is just an awesome time for this topic. This is a month of resetting. This is it. So, and let's talk about being realistic.
Okay, that part, right?
Let's do it. So, and one of the things that I've noticed is most people don't fail their resolutions because they're lazy. They fail because they're too ambitious. And what I mean by that, ambition without a system is a recipe for just self-loathing by February. You think about it, it's not that you're a quitter or that you're lazy. It's what you expect for yourself. It's not necessarily realistic because there's a lot of grace that goes along with this. So I'm what I'm getting at is okay. So let's look at the identity. It's not willpower. It's a conflict of identity. So most people try to change the results without changing the rituals that go along with that.
Mm.
So we treat resolutions like a sprint, like I got to get to it right away. Exactly. So when that energy from New Year's wears off and we haven't built an infrastructure or an environment where we're going to be successful and change our habits to do it, guess what? It's not going to happen. And what happens with that? It's a protection mechanism because every time you do something, you get a dopamine rush. And if you're always doing it, that's great. But by the time we hit February, where there's not so much excitement going on, so much talk about it, the dopamine rushes aren't coming as much. So, and then if you put unrealistic goals on top of that without the environment, of course you're going to fail. So yeah, no, this the all or none thinking where we have to be perfect, that's a big thing. I miss Monday's workout. I'm done. It's over. I need to stop.
Mhm.
Or everybody is at the gym is dieting, so I need to diet too. But no, but what is it that you need? What is your thing? Because nobody else is going to be in your shoes and going to live with the consequences of your actions. So basing our goals on other people is also a recipe for failure.
So,
So
what you think is the real issue underneath that pattern, like the mental and an emotional part? What is that real issue that they need to like hone in to? Especially, January, people do it on January. I say set goals all year long, but that's the tradition. January, new year, new you. But what you think is the real issue under that pattern?
so one of them is the reason for it. So what is it? Is it not I want to lose 15 pounds? It's my identity. My identity wants to be healthier. I want to be a healthier person. What does that look like? So it's not I want to lose 50 pounds. Let's break it down even smaller and smaller and smaller. Does that mean I'm going to drink more water every day? Does it mean that I'm going to remove the sodas from my house? That's part of the environment setting, but the identity is like, why? It's like, why am I doing this? My meaning for it. And then if I fail, is it a relapse? Is it a lapse? And then how do I get back on it? So the internal, the that goal, I mean, I've been doing a ton of research on this for like years, and a lot of my clients get the let's find a meaning for what you're doing. Why are you in therapy? What do you want from therapy? What are you
Exactly.
going to look like? I mean, even Viktor Frankl from World War II told you you need the why of why he survived the Holocaust, and he had his why. That's it. I mean, he was an epic studier of the human condition and how they were able to survive. And if they didn't have the why, guess what? They didn't make it out.
It didn't make it out. So, what is
No.
one of your clients in your practice? What are some of the trends that you see as their wise?
Some of the whys that I'm seeing is I want to be empowered. I want to be the boss. I don't want other individuals to tell me what to do. So historically, some cultures like to oh, talk about your weight, your appearance. And so it's been, let me lose some weight because I don't want to hear the comments. No, actually, I want to be healthier because I don't want to catch diabetes. I want to be able to keep up with my grandchild when they run around. Those are
That
some of the
part.
whys. Yeah, exactly. When we treat addiction, a person is not going to quit addiction if they're doing it for somebody else. They're doing it for themselves. It's the
Hmm.
same thing here. So that's some of the clients that I'm working with.
And every year there's like these different trends, and social media is always a big trend of why people have these false realities and their whys are skewed or whatever. So, what do you think is the biggest trend this year going into 2026?
That's really interesting. I think I'm hearing a lot of for me.
Mm,
For me.
that's
I'm
good.
seeing a lot of individuals coming in for me. I have listened to individuals and they've told me what I have to do. They've told me how to run my business. They've told me how I have to look. They've told me what I should think, what I should tolerate. No, no, that's what they're saying. Actually, this morning I have one say, no, this is all about me.
Okay. Now, is that positive or negative?
It is awesome. It is absolutely awesome
Okay.
considering that a lot of my work with trauma is a lot of basically oppression of the spirit and
Well, I had to ask
manipulation.
because people feel like when they focus on themselves that they're selfish and that is then they should be worrying about other people and put themselves last. So that's why I asked because when people
Yeah.
come in saying it's about me, somebody else on that's watching may be thinking, well, that's selfish. They're so selfish, but no.
No, and I can see how it would be perceived that way, but more of like, what is the function of what you're doing? So if the function is so that I'm at peace with my decisions and the consequences that I'm about to deal with, then I understand. But if the function that I'm doing this is because so that I can not have to deal with other people and I don't want to be able to have to tolerate what other people say, those are two different functions. It's like, why are you doing things? It goes back to the why, my favorite word. Well, second favorite word, the function.
Mhm.
Like, what's the function of what you're doing? If the function of me is expecting individuals to treat me with respect, so when you enforce a boundary, it's because I'm looking for respect, is one. Or if the function of why I want to lose weight is because so that I can breathe easier when I climb the stairs,
Mhm.
that's a healthy function. But if
Mhm.
the function is because I am wanting other people to pick up my mail and so that I don't have to climb the stairs for, I'm like, well, that's not exactly the function that we're looking for as far as health. And
Mhm.
it's not
That's
going to be a
good.
successful one either.
The function. Y'all hear that? You have to look for the function of your conjunction. You remember that cartoon back in the day?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So, what do you think is the biggest February? We have a little bit more to go. We probably have mid January. So, what is the big February killers you see? Stress, overwhelm, perfectionism, shame, unrealistic goals, and how do they show up in everyday life?
In everyday life, it turns into discouragement. It turns into instead of like, hey, I committed that I want to go to the gym and I'm going to spend 30 minutes, it turns into, oh, I'm going to put the alarm off. I'm sure there's something else that I can be doing today. Or, yeah, I don't have time to go to the water cooler. So I'm just going to not drink. Or, hey, there's a soda nearby, kind of a thing. And it becomes, our mind is like amazing at finding different reasons and rationalizing, like changing our habits that we had committed to. I do. I do. One is like, okay, so grace. I know the concept self care or something is actually no. I'm a big. Today was the theme of mindfulness. So I was teaching mindfulness to quite a bit. It's being present in the moment rather than looking back. Hey, I was supposed to drink 3 gallons of water by 6 p.m. I didn't do it. And like it's 5 p.m. and I haven't done it yet. What am I going to do? It's actually, being present in the moment. Like, what are you doing? And being part of what's going on. And then making your goals realistic. So make it more micro habits. So it's not, I'm going to the gym for 2 hours and then I failed if I didn't do 2 hours. It's like, I'm going to do the treadmill today. Cool. And I'm going to do the 15 minutes that I committed to. I make the 15 minutes. Ooh, one more mile, one more everything. It's looking at it from that perspective. And then also, if for some reason one of my issues has been getting up in time to go to the gym, cool. Guess what? I'm going to bed earlier.
Mm,
I'm wrapping up my habits earlier. I'm sleeping better. I am eating better. I'm drinking better because that's going to allow me to stick to what I committed to, which is going to the gym.
mhm. And
That's
in other words, they need a well-rounded, not just focusing on one little area, but all of the other areas that's connected to that one thing as well.
that makes the environment.
Hmm.
That's what makes the environment.
Absolutely. So I think it's a perfect time because you have loaded us with a lot of tips and tools, and so to help them to decompress on that or to think about it in the perspective of their own lives. While we take a quick commercial break, and while we take a quick commercial break, what I want you all to do is think about this: what's the one goal you're tired of restarting, and
Hmm.
what usually knocks you off track? So while we take a quick minute break, we'll be back in a quick minute. Y'all think about that, and then we'll come back and discuss that a little bit. And then Michelle will give us some more great, awesome tips and tools to help you to stay on track. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Girl Talk Mental Health dares to go where others won't. We unpack the hard truths about mental health, dissect trending topics, and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
All right, so welcome back to the second half of Girl Talk Mental Health, the Therapist Takeover 2026. And we have Miss Michelle Deal here. And we just left with a mind boggling or something to give you to think about before we came back. And so hopefully you thought about that one goal and you thought about what knocks you off of track because the rest of the information she shares will help you to learn how to be on track and to stay on track so that you're great the whole 2026, not just January 2026. No, the first week of January 2026.
No. Wow. It's going by so quickly.
It does. It's almost February already. So, Michelle, what's like one goal you start you if you think about we all have done this, especially growing up, and we have these family traditions about New Year's resolutions or whatever. So think about has there ever been a time when you had a goal where you were tired and you restarted it in as a therapist because now you have all of the tips and tools. What helped you to know that, hey, I could have done this to get me back on track?
So the biggest thing that I had run into when I started this practice, I realized, like I want to serve my community. So I'm going to be a resource for the community. And then I stopped being that because then I got started with how I say, the everyday life of running 5 million hats to be an actual practice owner. And I sat back and I looked at him like, what? At the end of the year, I'm like, did I serve my community as much as I wanted to? Because that's what I want to be known as. That's my identity. And that's my purpose of doing all of this. And like, I not as well as I wanted to. So then I said, well, what got in the way of it? Well, I got bogged down with the details of like running a practice, being a full-time therapist, trying to do community outreach at the same time, and also be an exceptional wife and mother and sister. There's a lot of hats to go on.
Yeah.
And so when I look back and I'm like, okay, let me give some grace and let me realize, okay, what got in the way is I was running too many hats and I didn't ask for help when I needed to.
Hmm. And so
Uh,
you started to delegate.
I did start to delegate, and I realized, okay, what's my strength and how am I going to create that environment? So it really came down to my environment. I had my meaning. What was my environment? Well, no, it wasn't, because everything was is dependent on me. So I needed to start delegating. So that's what 2026 is dedicated to. It's efficiency, what works, and what moves me towards my goal of being a community provider.
That's good. I hear those tips and tools. So, can you explain the difference between setting goals from pressure and setting goals? Because you just was talking about a little bit too, just what you were just saying, and setting goals from purpose and how that changes the follow through.
I'll start off with purpose. Okay, so purpose is like, who am I and who do I want to be known as? I want to be known as a community provider. I want to be a community resource. So every action, everything that I do, everything that I want to do, that I commit to, is at least one community outreach event at least every 2 weeks.
Mm,
I want to do public speaking and engagement, paid or unpaid. Don't really care about that. At least once a month. So, and the reason why I want to do that, because it's serving my purpose of sharing my knowledge and being a shameless plug for all of those organizations and passions that I have. So I'm tying it into that. Nobody is telling me, like my doctor's not telling me, hey, you need to lose weight, because I'm not losing my weight from my doctor. What he told me, I would be, if I was losing weight, if that was my goal, I would be because I want to be healthier so that I can continue doing those things of being a community research. So
that's
looking
good.
at it from that perspective. And then I break it down much, much smaller. So what does that look like? Okay, cool. That looks like that I will reach out to my community, and everybody that I consider important to me. At least once a day, I'm going to make 10 contacts a day. So I'm like, okay, so cool. But I got to remember that if I don't hit my 10, I'm like, well, I did this much. Okay, now what am I going to do differently? What got into way of me doing my 10?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So let me make some changes that got in the way of doing my 10. So that's why. And making a goal for somebody else, it's not tied into my personal identity. It's tied into someone else's identity. So that's why it's never going to succeed.
That's a good nugget. Repeat that for the people in the back.
Yes. Yeah. Listen up. If you make a goal for somebody based on someone else's feedback, you're making it on their identity, their meaning, their purpose. And you are the only one dealing with your consequences. They're not going to have to. So if you make a goal off of your identity and who you are and your purpose in life, you are going to succeed.
Right. That's good. Let go of the pressure, which is the other people's identity. That's great. Perfect. So, what does a realistic reset look like when someone has already fallen off so they don't spiral until I failed and quit completely?
Now I told you I'm a veteran. So I like looking at things like, okay, so let's look at something. What are the lessons learned from what this failure? Because failure is not a like an absolute. It's not a black and white thinking. It's more of a, okay, so this is a resetting period and a learning period. So I'm going to use that opportunity as a learning period. What got in the way? What didn't I do? And how do I make it more realistic? How do I make it smaller and manageable? And like I said, I was going to drink 5 gallons a day. Cool. Well, that didn't work, but it was easier for me to do 2 gallons a day. So let me start there. And if I want to 5, cool, let me build up. But that's only because it's important to me, because it's going to make me better and reach my goal. That's how
Hmm.
I'm getting it.
Being realistic, like knowing to do what you know you can do, and not doing what like what you see other people doing, what people are pressuring you to do, what you see social media doing, like what's realistically feasible for you, which is the correct thing to do. Like there's nothing wrong with doing that's the right thing. Actually, it's not wrong to do what you know is feasible to you. Just because someone else's look different doesn't mean yours is wrong. Yours is yours and theirs is theirs and mine is mine and yours is yours. And we all have our own certain things in our own lanes.
There are, and at the bottom, at the end of the day, at the bottom line, all of that pressure, those individuals, are they planning to help you with those consequences that you're going to have to deal with for your inactivity or activity level? Because they're not going to help you. They
Mm-mm,
can't deal with it. It's
mm-mm.
all you.
Right. When you're not able to take care of your family or focus at work or whatever, or where are they at? Right. Nowhere to be found.
No, this is all you. You are going to have to deal with those consequences. So it's got to be about you and your identity.
Until it's time to judge you, then they'll be there, to criticize, and critique you and all that other stuff in a negative way. Because,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
positive criticism and the positive critiquing, but, you know, the people we normally feel like we have to appease is the ones who usually give us the negative feedback and things like that. But the ones who are telling us certain things because they are sincerely looking out for us and want us to be a certain person for the right reason, we usually don't listen to them. Why? That's another. We have to study that part too. Right? That's another psychology.
Absolutely. 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 But like, I spend 10 years working on trauma, and that's the big thing. When we listen
Mhm.
to, what's the function of the voices and the people that we listen to? What's their function? If it's to propel us forward, then yeah, that's something to consider on my list of advice. If they don't propel us forward and keep us into a negative headspace, then that's what this year is. That's my year. And that's what my clients that I've had in here for the past 2 weeks have been saying. It's
And
what we're
that's
going to
good.
do.
I never thought about it from a trauma perspective, but it could be that they
Hmm.
respond to negative because of the trauma responses they are used to and the trauma they've seen generationally too, right? And they think that's the correct
Absolutely.
way to be treated, which is a whole nother girl talk mental health topic in itself.
Definitely. But you know, it's always been done this way. So therefore, I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, my mama did it, and my grandmother did it, and my daddy did it, and my grandfather did it, my uncle does it, and so it's right. No, that does not mean it's right.
No, it doesn't. Is
Mhm.
your uncle going to be dealing with your diabetes for you? Is he the one that's
Absolutely.
going to be giving you the medication and taking your medication?
Bring you to the doctors every week and all of that other good stuff that comes along with not taking care of yourself in a healthy way. Yep.
We are autonomous, and we are individuals that have our own choice and our own power. The one thing that we have in life is to choose how we respond to things. No
hmm
one else can choose that for us.
Absolutely. Great advice. So, and we've packed them with a lot of good information. So let's break it down
Let's
real
do it.
quick. Give
Okay.
us a simple step-by-step plan. And you gave us three, and I should have remembered it and wrote it down because earlier you said three things. I'm like, oh, that's a good little step right there. But they can go back and watch the replay if they want it. Some a step-by-step plan that a busy woman or a person can start today, even if she's tired, inconsistent, or juggling everything.
So the biggest one is like, who are you and who do you want to be? What that's your establishing your why. What's your purpose for all of this? And then look at your environment. Like, what do you need in your environment to help you get to that point? And then the third one is, how are you going to do it on a daily basis or even hourly basis? Break it down into micro goals.
So
And
you
of
said
all of
why,
Mhm.
who, and what? What was the?
the what, basically, or the environment, and then make it small.
Okay, okay. And I didn't mean to cut you off, so go ahead and finish with the stuff you were saying.
No, no, absolutely. No. So, yeah, like, okay, so why are we doing this? What's our meaning? What's our purpose? You know, I have tons of places where you can look for that give you resources. I love Viktor Frankl. But I also like, what in your environment kept you from being successful? Look at it and do like, like looking at it after action report. What are lessons learned from it? And then from there, what are you committing to change in your environment so that you can be successful? And don't commit to a grand, huge goal. It's like, what can you do on an hourly or daily basis? And if you don't succeed, cool. That means it's not like you're a failure, because that black and white thinking never works. It keeps you from doing things rather than propels you forward. It's more of a, what grace can you give yourself, and then what are you going to do to change it so you can do it the way you want to.
Okay, that's good. Good tips. So, Michelle, let the audience know where they can get in touch with you, where they can find you at on social media, your practice, and then if you have something going on or some type of offer or whatever, let them know what you have in your
Okay.
life right now.
Cool. Well, I run a practice out of Texas. Based in San Antonio, Texas, but I've got reach everywhere. I've even got reach in Wisconsin. So you can find me just by going to onhealingtherapy.com. We take care of things within 24 hours, give you free consultation. And we have quite a bit of groups in OCD, trauma, neurodivergence, all that stuff. So there's a ready to go. Also, as a women veteran, San Antonio and Texas has a very heavy presence here, and I support everything we can with it. So online, you can find me on Instagram with onhealing.therapy. LinkedIn is the same thing. It's onhealing.therapy. I am on Instagram at Michelle RD. And I can be found however you want to, basically. Send me an email, Michelle at onhealingtherapy.com.
Right.
I've got a great staff. I've got a great staff that's just willing to help you out with any of those issues.
And they're ready and waiting. And if you missed all of this, watch the show again, but also look in the show description and all of her information is there. So before we go, if today hit you in the chest, hit you hard, that's your sign. You don't need to meet, you don't need more guilt. You need a better support system is what you need. So rewatch this, share it with another woman, a friend, or whoever who's silently struggling. And drop a comment. Let Michelle know
Yes.
one goal you're resetting and what's your B plan, your plan B for hard days, right?
Yes.
Hit her up. Go to her social media. Go to her website. She has a great staff that's waiting to help you with whatever your needs are. And we want to thank you. We want to thank Michelle. We want to thank the audience for watching Girl Talk
Yes.
Mental Health, where the truth is told, where we heal out loud, and we build real tools for real life. Any closing
Definitely.
remarks, Michelle, before we go?
Oh my gosh, this was so exciting to get in the word started. This is going to be an awesome year for everyone. I see you. I know you are going to do this. Just be realistic and gentle with yourself.
All right. So see you all next week for another episode of Girl Talk Mental Health.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.